Live streaming is on.
Greetings and welcome to Stunthanger Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I will be your host this evening. And I want to extend to you my gratitude for watching Stunthanger Video Hangouts. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunt Hangar Forum member to find the link to attend the after party. Now, here at Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. Now, to join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunt Hangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthanger.com/S as in sunset, M as in Mary, F as in Frank. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunt Hangar will not approve you. If you are inclined to not come in and just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show. Understand that sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. I will ask our illustrious panel your questions or state your comments. Now, if you find the Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe and share the videos. That helps the channel grow. Please also consider joining our YouTube channel membership starting at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. If you come onto the YouTube Stunt Hangar channel, you'll see a join button underneath the video. So hit the join button, and that's how you join. Now, with your memberships, you will get special badges in the YouTube chat and unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a Q&A show just for members. Now, you can also use the super chat, which is located at the bottom of the chat box to make your donations. And I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. We really appreciate it. And those Sparky and I we are grateful and have tremendous gratitude for that. So please consider donating. Please consider joining our YouTube membership. It really is important to grow this platform. Please keep your conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words you wouldn't say around your children or grandchildren. Now, without any further ado, I'm going to post a link on the Stunt Hangar forum at the bench I mentioned earlier. So we post that now. All right, so that link is posted. So those who can come into the Stunt Hangar will see the link and they can come into the show. And I already have someone in here with me, and I'm hoping that we can make a connection here. Let me see if I can help him out and get him over here. Let's see here. Let me also check the YouTube side, see with our chat. Okay, we have Tom Rammel, and thank you, Tom, for hitting the like. You're probably the very first one. I assume there's 3 likes so far out of 4 viewers. So thank you very much, Tom. I appreciate that tremendously. And let me see here. I am having a hard time moving. I have 2 monitors, and I'm trying to. There we go. Get it over here. Great. All right. And let me bring the YouTube over here so I can keep an eye on that. That's how I keep track of everything using 2 monitors. All right. So I'm all set. So let me see if I can help this person here. 944_Jim is your ID on this platform. Hey, Howard.
Hi, Joe.
Hey, man, it's so good to see you, Howard. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks
Fan-
for inviting me.
Fantastic. That is awesome. There's another guest here. Can you see him on your screen there, Howard? That 9J?
I see a 9J.
Yeah. So let me see if I can help 9J out. Um, 9J, we can't see you or your camera's not enabled, and neither is your microphone. So if you can enable one of them or the other, that would be helpful, and we can help you get set up. But while waiting for you to do that, 944 underscore Jim, Greg Nielsen, he says, "Evening, Charles. Hello, Greg. Thanks for coming into the chat box. Hey, John. I know you know Howard Rush. Do you see this distinguished gentleman here, Howard Rush?
Yeah.
And then Howard Rush, you can see the other distinguished gentleman, John Miller.
Yeah, I know Rush. I know you.
I'm
How you doing, Howard?
doing all right.
Looks like we both let our hair grow.
I haven't had a haircut for a year.
Me neither. Just what I did when I trimmed my beard, I trimmed it back just a little bit, but back here it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. You both are looking good.
Well, thank you, thank you. What are you doing these days besides being the head boss at the stunt or the combat? What do you call it?
Combat team?
Yeah, yeah.
I talked to Jim Rhodes the other day on the telephone.
Oh, did you?
Yeah,
What did Jim have to say?
a lot.
That's usual, yeah. Come to
Yeah,
think of it.
Typical.
Yeah. What are you building these days? Are you building another impact or?
Yeah, building a stunt plane. Building a take apart, trying to.
I built a couple, but I did it the easy way, kind of like a RC plane.
Hey, Bob.
You know this bald-headed guy down here?
Hey, Bob.
Looks
What?
really old. I don't know anybody that old.
You mean the one you're looking at in the mirror? How you doing, John? How you doing, Charles?
I'm doing well. Do you see Howard Rush there, Bob?
Howard Rush. How you doing, Howard?
Hi.
I understand you're going to have to print yourself a snow shovel.
I brought a snow shovel here from the Midwest. They don't know what they are here.
Yeah. Well, we know what they are here. We had 36 inches the other day.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
What's your kid doing?
He's out shoveling snow. No. He's working on another canard,
Oh,
So, what are you doing?
what am I doing?
Yeah. You're turning into a hippie. Congratulations.
Yeah.
It looks good on him.
I know. It's like kind of looks like Steve Earle or something.
Yeah. I might tie it back when it gets.
Oh, now you really look like Steve Earle.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So, Howard, are you working on a new impact or something totally different? I know you mentioned that you're building a new friendship.
What's different?
Yeah, anything different about it?
Well, it has some down thrust by accident.
That's good. How much down thrust you put in it, Eric?
Half a degree.
Oh, that's nothing. Good. I like it. I like it at 1.5 degrees myself.
Oh, okay.
I use up thrust, but then again, I use reverse pitch props. So
There you go. But when you're upside down, it's not down thrust.
Oh, it's too complicated for me.
That's kind of hard
I
to believe.
got a copy, Howard. I got a copy of your spreadsheet from Brent, and I find it really interesting.
Yeah.
Going to make my job a whole lot easier.
Oh, okay. Good.
So what spreadsheet is that?
I've got a spreadsheet that I presume it's the one that is for control geometry.
Oh, I have that spreadsheet.
Yeah, I think you did.
Yeah.
Now we need a spreadsheet that we can sum the moments, so we can get our planes closer to balance right from the get-go.
Oh, yeah, I always intended to keep track of weights, but
What is that? The total of the sum of the moments have to equal 0. Is that right?
That's the one.
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah, if you know what everything weighs and where it is, then you know what G is.
I know what.
Weight stuff.
Let me interrupt for a second, you guys. I'm sorry, but this person has been trying to get in.
Go ahead.
94_Jim. That's your ID on the platform. Can you enable your microphone or enable your camera? One of the two would be very helpful.
It's a shy person.
It might just be a new person just trying to get in. Some people have a little bit of a challenge getting in the first time. So if you go to the to you 944_Jim, if you go to the 3 dots to the right in the bottom of your screen, if you're on a PC anyways, you click those 3 dots at the bottom right hand side and a menu will pop up. And you should be able to go to settings. And if you click on settings, you'll see yourself again, and then you'll see to the right of that the camera, which you can select. There might be a down arrow there, hopefully, your microphone, and then the audio audio output. You'll be able to select that. And you also can do there's a play a test sound that you can hit and enable, and then hopefully that'll be helpful. So try that, please. I'd love to see you and love to have your voice so we can talk. So anyways, let me turn back to my other guest here.
I want some American-made pins. Where do you get American-made pins?
From China.
American-made pins?
Yeah, if you look behind you on your table.
Oh, on my table. American-made pins, right.
Yeah.
I got those at the Boeing surplus store about 40 years ago.
Wow.
Well, you know what I see that he's got there that I covet? He's got those shelving cabinets for laying your plans, your file system for your plans. How'd you get that? Did you get that from Boeing too?
Yes, I did.
Ah,
Boeing surplus.
wow.
Let's see. I'm going to try plugging in just talk among yourselves here.
All right.
Well, Bob.
Yes.
How's your twin coming along?
You're good, real good. I got the I got the rudders onto the stabilizer. I put them on before putting the stabilizer in the airplane because they can be a pain to finish. So I got them on and I got them sealed, and I'm going to put the fillets in, and I'm going to actually prime them and sand them before I put that unit into the airplane.
Cool.
Yeah, it's coming along.
Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
What size? You're electric with that. What size motors are you using?
They're going to be 28. I don't have the number handy. It's
2820.
It's a Cobra. 2014s. Is that right? I'll have to go down and check. I got so many motors downstairs. I don't know which one's which.
What was that, Howard?
Have you tried badass motors?
Yeah. I got in the airplane behind me here. I got a badass 3515 710 kV. I love it.
Good job. You got in 94, Jim.
And that airplane.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Hey, we can hear you too.
Y'all aren't
Fantastic.
using your stunt hanger handles here?
Not necessarily. You can if you want. There's no prohibition on anything, or just nothing profane.
Oh, nothing profane? Let me turn up my microphone. I got some Kevlar on my airplane I'm working with, and
Ah, well, I'll introduce myself. My name is John Miller, and the guy in the kind of looks like a pinky shirt sitting back there, that's Howard Rush. Yeah, and the guy with the earphones on and blue shirt, that's Bob Hunt.
Howdy.
And then the guy with the bald head, the dark glasses, chewing on. What are you eating? Popcorn?
Popcorn.
Ah, that's our serious leader of this group, Charles Carter.
Names I'm familiar with. Glad to see faces with the names.
Yes, fantastic. I didn't get your name. What's your name?
My name is Jim. I live in
All
Columbus, Mississippi, and I use the same handle I used on Stunt Hangar.
Oh, okay.
which is what?
All right. First time I've done video chat.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I flattered. Appreciate it. That's great. Howard asked you a question. What is your handle on the forum?
944_Jim.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic. So how did you hear about us, Jim?
Oh, I don't know. Several years ago, I started coming back to a hobby dear to me from when I was a young kid and trying to get my boys off of their tablets. I decided I was staying back in the hobby. They decided it wasn't for them. So unfortunately, they each built and flew their own plane and then dropped away from it. And my wife was kind enough to grant me the closet off the side of the garage, which used to be a storage room.
Oh, nice. And my first workshop was a closet, so that's great. I think that's a lot of space.
Well, it's 5.5 feet wide by about 15 feet long, so it's not bad. I finally put an air conditioner in the wall.
Oh, cool. Oh,
if I can get to it. Working the camera backwards is a little funny.
Yeah.
Or maybe if I step in front of it.
yeah. And you can. Are you using an iPhone or what are you using?
Android, old Motorola G.
Okay. Yes,
So, well, welcome to my hobby closet. You guys are the first ones to see it. Let me see if I can get out of the way of the camera. There we go.
Holy smokes! Well, you're making good use of the space.
Well, I'm trying. There's Mr. Fred out of Texas handed me
I
that.
gotcha. That a gotcha?
And, in fact, let me see if I can get the camera turned around.
There we are.
all right.
And let's see, how does that work in this land? I don't know if I can do it. All right, well, you guys tell me. This is what I've been working on lately. I'm trying to mount the tank on this Yuki 35, and I decided to go on the inboard side of the fuselage because there just isn't a whole lot of room between the engine and the tank.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So it's an aluminum platform. I don't know if you can see that because now I can't see my camera.
I can see it.
All right, let me. My intent. Let's see if I can do this again. You guys on it? There we go.
Yeah.
So it'll be hooked onto the engine mounts and the landing gear mounts eventually, so that I can go ahead and get this thing in the air. Fred sent it to me about a year and a half ago because I'm coming out of half A, and half A just doesn't want to stay in the air very well when it's doing well. Not at my build level, anyway. I'm really good at figure 9. Let's just say that.
Yeah, figure 9s they come pretty natural to people.
I wonder though, you might have to launch a little faster than you would had you put the tank right behind the engine, because when you centripetal force, when you start flying, it's going to put pressure on that fuel just a bit of a head pressure from the centrifugal force, and you'll richen up a little bit.
Would a Uniflow help?
Well, it's on the inside, you know, so it's about two, maybe 2.5 inches off the center of the needle valve on the inboard side. There is one little trick you could do, and that's get a small half-ace little wedge tank there, and run that behind your engine. Run the fuel from the bigger tank inboard to that little tank, and then pick it off from there. You get rid of some of it.
Well,
And
how does
it
the
may
little
not bother you. It may not bother for what you're doing.
right?
Hey, Peter.
I thought about
Hi.
I considered whether or not I wanted to do that, but the alternative was to hang it on the outside of the fuselage, and there just isn't a lot of room in there.
No.
I've been told I should cut the wing out and slide the tank in behind the engine anyway, and that's not off the board yet.
Yeah, you could do the old combat trick and make a bladder tank, sit it in the wing as well. Howard could tell you how to do that.
Well, this is a foam wing, so it'll be a little tough to cut into it for any cavity unless I start trying to figure out some way to close up the cavity behind the tank.
But you got probably the biggest advocate of foam wings sitting here looking at us. Bob?
Yeah.
I'm talking about you.
Oh, okay. I was kind of looking at what Peter was doing there, you know.
What I did was over the weekend, I went and I repaired a lot of the hanger rash that was on the Pathfinder LE kind of accumulated.
Oh my God.
And that's all that's left to be done there is to fix that one little spot.
That's good.
And I got that all fixed, and then I'll just start. The controls are installed. I got the engine figured out.
Cool.
So ultimately, next week I'll probably be ready to start covering it.
Wow, that's
Wow,
great.
that'd be great.
Because I figured I'd do that in the interim for the simple reason is I'm waiting on the sheeting. Brodak has put the sheeting, the 4-inch wide 1/16 inch sheeting for the Saginaw, and the mail hasn't arrived here yet. So I figured I might as well do something in the meantime. But it is an interesting thing I discovered. You have your Pathfinder LE, and I always thought that was a bigger airplane. But when I turned around and I compared the Saginaw wing,
Oh no! What was that?
the Saginaw wing, the wingspan is almost the same.
Yeah.
Well,
You're a staff?
What happened?
It fell off.
no biggie. That was a part. That was a part I had before, an issue I had before. Now fix that up.
Oh, on the stem.
You know, this show and tell can absolutely wreck airplanes.
Yeah, just be careful. Yes.
Jeez.
Yeah, show and tell is kind of hazardous.
Gee, Peter, I'm sorry I asked.
No biggie. That's one place where it had broken before. So.
Hey, Gary, how are you this evening?
Pretty good.
Wait a
Thanks for
minute,
coming in.
I got to fly against Howard, so maybe I should ask him to show me his airplane, see what we can do to that one.
I see a wing up there, Howard.
Looks like Howard has a lot more space to move around.
Got it back in the jig.
Yeah, but it looks like he already broke his tail off.
Yeah. Here's the,
Oh.
Yeah.
well, fuselage aft one, the aft fuselage is yet to be built. Here's the bottom.
All right.
Go- Hold that up again. I want to see how you did that.
This is my Bob Hunt shell, with the formers in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks good.
You get an A.
You passed that.
Here's the forward front, the forward top. Got little darts in it there. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
My cat and I watched the Bob Hunt Billy Woolridge video on that. Here's
You got that off the video?
yeah.
You're the guy that bought the video. I knew we had one out there. This is some upper part of the fuselage, I think. You better number them.
Well, yeah, I got numbers on the forward. Sometimes, if you use a laser to cut the formers and you put the numbers on with the laser too, you got to set it to stun to do the numbers, and
Yeah.
if you set it to cut, it'll.
By the way, those templates you did for Jim Aaron, they're perfect. They're beautiful.
Another laser tip for you young stunt flyers here that might have a secondhand laser cutter you just got. If you use it to put center lines on things, let's see. Here's an example of center lines on formers.
Yeah.
If that it does a nice job of making a nice fine line there, but if it's with the grain, they'll break right there.
Oh, wow.
So.
Yeah. I don't need to know any of this stuff about lasers. I got a friend out in Washington that has a laser.
They're smoky.
So I'm curious now. Did you laser cut the little darts on the top of that front former?
No, that's before I got the laser. I was a lot faster doing stuff before I got the laser.
That's back in the Stone Age.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool.
All right, all fixed.
What shade of orange are you going to make this with?
Same shade.
You going to do the folded checkers and all that like you did before?
I don't know. Probably. I don't know.
That looked like it was a fun painting project.
It was pretty easy.
Was it?
Yeah. I was going to tell you a story, but I forgot what it was.
That happens to me all the time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, I have a comment from the chat box. Minnesota Mike says, "Oh boy, Howard Rush looking good."
Yeah, I haven't had a haircut in a year.
No, really?
Yeah, I've been afraid of the Rona, so I haven't been to the barbershop. I haven't hardly been anywhere. But I got my own fly field, so I don't need to go anywhere.
Yeah, I like it. I'm
that's
jealous. I'm just jealous.
Yeah, Bob's boy did the irrigation system. He and I put that. That's what my knees didn't work. So he was able to get down in the hole to work on the irrigation. I couldn't get down in the hole. I get down.
You put them to work. That was good.
Yeah.
So your flying circle a asphalt or concrete or grass?
It's snow right now. No, it's it's grass.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's we have subterranean animals to make it kind of interesting on the terrain. I'm gonna roll it here when it gets good and soggy. I gotta roll it.
So you're
We have-
practicing. So you're practicing on grass and competing on asphalt, right?
Depends on where one competes. If,
All fixed.
one competes in Poland, maybe the soybeans. And I asked the guy who'd been to that field, and he said it's like Muncie, except the parts that are between events, the grass between events at Muncie.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a good description. So, that's we're going back to the same place next summer. So,
So what you building there, Howard?
what am I building?
Yeah.
Same old dog. It's a take apart. So.
And I have another announcement. Chris Rigotti says, "Hi, Howard."
Hi, Chris.
That's pretty cool.
Hey, does it look like the Northwest Regional is going to go this year, Howard?
I don't know. I think I saw on the Flying Line site that it's tentatively scheduled for the end of May.
I saw you,
That would
Jim.
be
I know
nice.
you're hiding your camera. Turn your camera off, but I saw you too late. Hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Hi,
Hey,
Jim.
how we doing?
Doing well.
Howard, what you working on there?
Oh, just another impact.
How'd I know that?
Well, I don't know. About all I know how to do. And I pretty much forgot how between airplanes.
Yeah, you got to build
All
one. You
right.
got to build one once in a while.
Yeah, I guess so.
Did you? Are you putting that flap tweaking machine on that thing that you're showing there?
What the Lori's making? Yeah, I guess so. I don't know whether I forgot to incorporate the pole thing in the airplane, or I thought I had a better idea. I guess I thought I had a better idea. Then after I found out that it was too late.
Yeah, I've done something like that. Yeah.
You want to see the inside of the airplane? Let me
Yeah. Sure.
unplug all this stuff. Okay. And you're there. Okay, I can't hear anything because I had you plugged into my stereo system, and now I don't. And let's see. There's a way to change cameras between
The one I have, you just click it again, second time.
How do you do that? Well,
Click the picture button twice.
I'm kind of wasting your time, and I can't hear anything.
No, you're not.
No, this is very entertaining, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just trying not to vomit. That's all.
Whoa.
Usually it's what kind of are you on
Whoa.
a tablet, Howard?
Listen,
Oh.
Howard, we're in no rush.
Disabled the sound.
No, we still hear you.
Yeah, we can still hear you. We can hear you. Keep fiddling with it.
Well, I see you guys talking.
Yeah, we're talking.
That's pretty interesting, but
Usually you have to go to your camera and there'll be a circle of some kind where you can switch between front and back. You have to have your camera running.
I'll be right back.
All right. In the meantime, Howard, Chris Rigotti said howdy in response to you saying hi, Chris. He said howdy.
Hey, while we're waiting on Howard, hey Bob, I got a question for you.
He just
Well,
stepped away.
somebody-
Be right back, Jim. Bob just stepped away.
Oh, all right.
Howard, I haven't seen you this serious in years.
Oh, we're making progress.
Hey, I think you did it.
I think you got it, Howard.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's nice, Howard.
Easy.
I'm kind of curious about that table leg there. With
Yeah.
that little caster on it. I'm wondering what it's holding up. Ah,
It looks like weather stripping of some sort.
well, I think it's set up so you can roll that.
Expand.
Hey, Jim, Bob is back.
Yeah, I wanted to make Peter feel better, so I went and broke the tail off my airplane.
Oh, nice. No, it's all fixed, Bob. It was thin CA as it works wonders. I mean, it was just like
There's a new tail for the new twin.
Looks
Cool.
nice. I
Nice.
like that.
What I did was, I don't know if you can see it or not, it's got a 1/64 inch plywood core that had holes in it, and then it's got 3/32 inch balsa on either side. Let me see if I can get a light behind this thing, and that will
Well,
show
I
you.
like the fact that you got the rudders out directly behind the props.
you can handle it.
Yeah, see if we get behind it, and
Yeah, don't burn yourself.
yeah, I don't know if I can do this or not. Hold on.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yup.
Mm.
Now, those
Nice
twin
light
runners
piece.
actually have a hole and slide onto the stab, or is it just a piece of the stab glued on the outside of the twin rudder?
No, I actually, what I did was I made holes in the rudders so I could, and I carved the tip. I actually taped the elevators in the cradle, and I carved a whole tip, and I only glued it to the stabilizer. And then I kind of made the rudders go around that and onto it. I made a fixture to line it up and then glued them, and figured I'm going to get it all the way up through primer before I put it in the airplane.
Oh yeah.
So,
Very nice.
yeah.
Yeah, that is nice. So the tip is a separate piece?
The tip is actually glued to the stabilizer.
Okay.
And I did that first, and then I just kind of put the rudder around it and split it up on to the stabilizer. Yeah. And then I kind of made the rudder go around that and onto it. I made a fixture to line it up and then glued them, and figured I'm going to get it all the way up to primer before I put it in the airplane. That's weird.
Boy, you should become a ventriloquist. I didn't see your lips move at all.
Hey, Chris.
The tip is actually glued to the stabilizer.
Okay.
And I did that first, and then I just kind of.
So someone has YouTube going on in the background. If you have the YouTube channel going on, you need to mute that, and we'll stop.
Quiet! I'm learning something here. This guy's good.
You should become a ventriloquist. I didn't see your lips move at all.
The tip is actually glued to the stabilizer. How many times am I going to hear this?
So someone has the YouTube going on in the background. If you was on YouTube before, you need to shoot that YouTube since you've come into the show.
Hey, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. All right, no more looping. Good.
Hi, I messed stuff up, so maybe I was the problem, whatever problem there was. I couldn't hear anything for a long time. I don't know whether you can hear me now.
I hear you now. I heard you before.
We can hear you.
I can. If you're interested now, I give you a tour of my airplane.
Oh, very interested.
Yeah.
Let me catch up on the chat box, Howard. Just a second. Minnesota Mike says Howard needs a 3-year-old to show him how. I think that was regarding what he's trying to do earlier.
Whoa.
And then Brent Williams says, "Hi guys." And,
Hi, Brent.
hi Brent. Glad you came in, and I'm glad Minnesota Mike came in. Look forward to seeing you again, Minnesota Mike. We didn't get together because of the COVID, but looking forward to us getting back together.
I'm impressed there, Howard.
Wow, that is neat.
Okay, let's see if I can
Get a pointer, Howard.
drop. This is the Igor system. It's interesting. This picture is reversed.
Just click on it on your monitor, and the little thing comes says flip. I don't remember if you right click or left click to get it to say flip, but it'll.
I don't see it. I better not. Last time I touched something, I messed everything up. Anyhow, just imagine that you're looking at this in a mirror or something.
Okay.
Or that, yeah. Here's the Igor system. See this the slidey thing there?
Oh yeah.
Catching back here. And
Where'd you get the trunnion blocks?
Tony Huber made them, local
Boy, that's
machinist for Boeing.
That is nice.
And the stuff inside them is you can see that one there. That's IGUS J, IGUS. It's slippery stuff from England, not England, Germany. Other stuff of interest here is a magnet and a Hall effect pickup thing, so I can look at data on a control surface position. I got a data acquisition system. I can get angular rate and accelerations, but not control surface position. It'd be handy to have that too. So I put that on so I get this on this dog. I can show you the other dog that has the other system in it. No, it can't either. I took it off. So
that is impressive.
And here's the take apart system. This is
Dallas Hanna.
No, it's the tension devices. It's like the Tom Morris system, only continuous stuff. The pieces top and bottom are I-beams made by the Canadian buddy of Chris Cox's, who has a machine shop. And you can see my laser cut bell crank platform.
Yeah,
cool.
Very nice.
Yeah.
The take apart thing of the trailing edge is made by Mike Haberly. It's just a rod. It's actually lighter, but the I-beam is pretty cool. And
you just got a set screw in the trailing edge there, Howard?
it's let's see, you can't see it because it's on the bottom, but here's the excess from the top.
Okay.
Let's see, which one am I pointing to? This one. There's a little duct that the screw goes down in and attaches the wing in tension. The Dallas Hanna thing is in shear. This one's in tension.
Wow, that's
What?
impressive.
Now your stab in the elevator's coming off too when you the back half of your fuselage.
That's got the Yatsenko system in it. Let's see if I can find one. I can't because it's built in.
I think that's what Peter has too, the Yatsenko system.
Yeah, that's a shear device.
Sorry, Peter.
Oh, I guess I can show you in here.
Wow.
There you can sort of see the green stuff down at the bottom of the fuselage.
Oh yeah.
Hey, Denny.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Denny. Thanks for coming in.
Hey, happy to be here. I was going to say some things about my airplane too, but it's kind of lost in the shuffle. My 1951 Smoothie. So.
Oh, wow.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it doesn't quite, let's see, Howard is he's on fire here.
I took a look at your orange crate, Denny, the plans for it yesterday. It's been calling my name for a long time. Just to be different, I may have to build one here one of these years.
I flew that airplane. I flew Denny's, and it flew great.
Did you have any trouble with the high aspect ratio?
Yeah, it should have been bigger.
You mean more cord or longer?
Yeah, 6-footer.
Ah.
Now, all seriousness aside, I think the one thing that I really like about it, I've got very, very few data points to suggest it's true, though. But the high aspect ratio was a good low energy solution. That is, it took less engine power to fly the airplane. I've got a couple of checkpoints on the electric stuff now that kind of seem to back that up. And the other thing with the electrics is that they don't wind up in the wind or anything like that, so the low drag won't come back to bite you in the butt, on windy days or anything like that, which has been the knock on high aspect airplanes. But yeah.
Is that Denny animation?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say that he tried a low aspect ratio electric airplane, and I thought that was the way to go. But
no, that's it. You can never be too rich, too thin, or have too much aspect ratio. But.
Well, it depends on.
Although the limiting factor is going to be having a really cool plug-in wing system like that. So.
Or a long enough car.
Yeah. I'm driving a subcompact right now, so.
You ever hear the story about Wendy Artnowski in? It was about 1965. He had the sweeper. Remember the sweeper?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the first one.
Big. Yeah, I flew that. My arm still hurts. And there was a contest at Willets Point where Shea Stadium was due to be built in short order there. This is back before Shea Stadium. And we all went out to this contest, and Wendy was supposed to show up, but he never made it to the contest until he made it, but late in the afternoon. It was all over. And everybody said, "Where were you?" And he said, "Well, I got arrested. I got put in jail." And they said, "Why?" Well, he had the Chevy 350 Chevy 2 Nova, and you couldn't put that sweeper. You couldn't put the tail panel on the airplane. The thing was so huge. So he built a car top carrier, and he was taking it to the contest. He went to a toll booth, and the toll collector stuck his head out. The car top carrier smacked him in the head, knocked him clean out. And Wendy got arrested.
Wow.
Hey.
It's a true story.
Gordon tells me a story when they were going to a contest. I believe he had Pete Peterson with him, and he had a T-bird in the back of the pickup. They didn't have anything tied it down. It was just sitting in there. And they were driving down the road, and all of a sudden he looks back there, and this T-bird is about right level with the medium or medium at the window, the rear window, and it's just hanging there in the draft in the air.
Gee.
And he slammed the brakes on, and it right into the back of that window, fell onto the floor.
Hey, Bob.
Yo.
I got a question for you.
Go.
Somebody told me on here that you are finishing your balsa raw. I'm just about to do that on my plane here. You know, you don't put any carbon veil or fiberglass or anything. You just start straight with the finishing resin.
Yeah.
Is that how you're doing yours?
Yeah, let me get these off because I'm having a hard time hearing myself.
This dates back to the original Genesis back in '72, and I wanted to find a way to finish it quicker and without silk spanning it. We didn't have carbon back then with silk span, so I took some polyester resin, and I mixed it up, and I brushed them on the panel, and then I heated it, and then I wiped it off with a paper towel, figuring that that stuff sunk in. You know, I could wipe most of it off, and then whatever went on top of it wouldn't sink down into the grain. And and it worked pretty good, except for the fact that there was still some grain left above the barrier coat. And if you use a solvent release material like balsa filler coat, it'll eventually reduce in size, and you'll see the grain through the finish. And after about a year, I started seeing grain. But now that we have catalyzed of fillers, primers, and everything's catalyzed, we're trying it again, and it works perfectly. You can seal the grain with 2 coats of Z-epoxy finishing resin, brush it on, heat it, wipe it off, sand it, put another coat on the same way, and it really doesn't add, the second coat adds virtually no weight at all. And then you go right to a catalyzed primer, and then you go, my next coat after sanding all the primer off, and I mean all of it off, is to go to a product called ChromaSeal, which is a adhesion coat. And it's not that light, but it is catalyzed, and it cures with a semi-gloss. And so after it's cured, you can dry sand it until it's almost all gone, and you keep sanding until there's no more semi-gloss showing. So you get rid of all the low spots, and then you're ready to put on a thin coat of white or whatever color, and then you trim and you're clear. And it weighs about 3 ounces less than doing it with carbon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it won't sink.
I did a ringmaster.
What happened to Howard?
I did a ringmaster that way, and what happened was over time, I only put 1 coat of finishing resin, and so I just did the fuselage. And over time, what would happen is I would start to see some of the grain coming through the finishing resin.
Now what kind of primer did you use?
What's that?
What kind of primer did you use over the finishing resin?
I used automotive catalyzed.
Oh, catalyzed. Okay.
Valspar is the particular product. And then sanded, most everything off. But I didn't put 2 coats on, and I've heard a lot of guys say that you should put 2 coats on.
Yeah, some people are even using 3, and then you virtually don't even have to put a filler on. The thing is like glass,
Yeah, my tracer is just about ready to. I'll show it to you real quick.
This has got 2 coats on it right now. Matter of fact, the second coat hasn't been sanded. I don't know how well you can see any of this or not.
Let's see. Oh, I can see kind of a sheen a little bit.
Yeah, the second coat hasn't been sanded yet. But.
What happened to Howard?
I don't know. And 944_Jim, he left too.
Anyway, this tail with the rudders on, and the elevators, and the horn, and the hinges weighs 2.7 with the finish.
Wow.
Yeah, with the finish.
Really impressive.
2 rudders.
Yeah.
Now,
I have another question for you, Bob.
Yeah.
Let me get my camera situated here. So, guys, there we go. All right, so that's what I got now, and I'll be shortly getting ready to do the finishing resin.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just finishing up my top mount cowl, putting my magnets and stuff in. It'll go like this.
Is that a tracer?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a new tracer.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a all in line. I'm getting ready to draw it up. I'll show it to you.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting ready to twist it and actually do something good with it. So anyway, that was kind of the deal. I'd heard you were doing that, and then so it's just 2 coats. Wipe it all off with a paper towel, and then do you knock the tops off a little bit?
Yeah. What do you mean?
Well, after it hardens.
Oh yeah.
You go in with.
I block sand the heck out of it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With about 320,
Yeah.
I block sand the first coat real well, and then I put on the second coat, and then block sand that only takes a little bit. The second coat adds virtually no weight at all, and it's very easy to sand. And then go right to primer.
Just filling in the low spots.
Now you talk about catalyzed
Okay.
primer, Bob.
Yeah, I use the DuPont products because the local paint store has got DuPont products, but any of them will work, I'm sure. And it's got a 3-part catalyzed primer. It's got the material, a catalyzer or activator, and a reducer. And you want to reduce it a little bit so it flows into whatever grain is left,
Interesting.
Yeah, any of that automotive stuff, you need to reduce the heck out of it.
Yeah.
That's how I ended up with a 80-ounce airplane the first time.
Mm.
I just mixed up the Valspar just like the guy said. He's painting cars, and I'm not. So we basically reversed the mix. They called for 3 parts of paint, 1 part of
Activator?
reducer, and 1 part activator, and 1 part paint. Reducer. So we had to flip that around so that we could actually get it on there. And now we paint with just strictly an airbrush with that stuff. Again, just to kind of keep. That was good. And
I have a question for
Go
both
ahead,
of you,
Tran.
I guess. Is there like a good place where you can get small quantities of paint? Automotive paint?
I don't know. Unless you know somebody that works at one of them stores, I don't know how you can really do it. The guy that I use, he sells by the quart, by the pint.
Yeah, I was able to get half pints because the guy I go to, I wrote him up in one of my columns. I mentioned his name, saying how much helpful he was, and I brought him a copy of the magazine. And then he was selling me half pints instead of pints because when you use the base maker, you get, if you buy half a pint and put 100%.
Oh yeah, the stuff lasts forever.
You got a quart of paint and it lasts you the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you ain't lying.
So you make friends with the guy, then you can get it half pints. But otherwise, they're gonna a pint of high performance red, that Viper red, cost me $105. Now that what you do is you mix it with the base maker and you get a quart. But still, that's expensive red.
Oh my God! Yeah.
I'm on like my 10th airplane now, putting trim on with that stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to stay in like an 8-ounce range. So anywhere below $40 would be nice.
Yeah,
not gonna happen.
It's not gonna happen. No.
They didn't have any
probably
problems?
not.
But remember, there's only one hobby: spending money.
Pick a color you like.
Yeah.
I take it they had no bronze, huh?
If you haven't noticed,
Yeah.
noticed, I've been into red, white, and blue airplanes lately.
No bronze.
I'm
Patriotic.
still shattered with the bronze. I mean, you know.
Well, you
the
could
bronze-
always buy 3 things of red, blue, and yellow, and do your own mixing.
There you go.
But you still got to have black, and usually, white is usually
Yeah, staples.
a fair. Yeah, so that's the one you'll probably use most of.
But you can get what they call fleet finishes. They have a less expensive paint. You can buy it's a generic whites and generic blacks, and you can get them a lot cheaper. They're called fleet finishes, and you can get those a little cheaper. And they're just as good.
Mhm.
But the bronze may make a reappearance.
It wouldn't be you without it, buddy.
Guys, let me interrupt real quick. Mark Lumen says, "Hey guys, wanted to check in. It was getting ready. Excuse me. Let me start over. Hey guys, wanted to check in. Was getting ready for my knee surgery and COVID monster hit. Been laid up for about 7 days now. This stuff ain't no joke. We'll watch for a bit. Fatigue is horrible." Anyways, Mark, sorry to hear that, and definitely take care. And we can lift you up in prayer too. Keep you in our prayers and thoughts, because that is no joke. You
Yeah.
definitely gotta.
Speaking of, we got to lift Bill up in prayer. Bill Rich, he's very ill.
Who?
Bill Rich.
Bill Rich?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Sorry to hear that too.
I'm
And
sorry to hear that.
on the chat box, he says, "Hey y'all, we'll be on later. Well, we look forward to it." And look, we lost Chris Rigotti, and we lost Howard Rush, and we lost 94. Excuse me, we lost Jim, and that's too bad. I hope they can get back in here.
Hey, I have this.
Howard had to go to his part-time job. He's got to make money to pay for that control system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I noticed, Charles, you lost all those people
had
within minutes after I checked in, so I apologize.
You're gonna make up for that for the loss.
I don't know what to tell. I did click the like button, though.
Thank you very much.
Let me do that right quick.
Yeah, I did too.
I have a question for Mr. Adamison. Where do I get a set of plans to the Sweet Pea? Who sells those now?
Well, they were in Model Aviation, so you should be able to get them from
Model
AMA.
Aviation. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll try that then.
Was it a Model Aviation or American Modeler?
No,
I thought
it
it was American Modeler originally.
No, wait a minute. Now I'm confused. Yeah, I think you're right. You guys are right.
Stick with us, then. We'll tell you where your airplanes are.
Yeah.
It's been to be published so many times.
Well, anyway, two of us locally have gotten interested in that airplane. And Tommy's wanting a set of plans, and I said I'd ask. I said, well, I'll possibility might talk to the creator. I'll talk to him and see if he knows where to get his plans.
Did you ever see the little one that Bob Hunt was flying in old time? Wasn't that
Which
sweet?
one? No. Well, I don't remember Bob flying Sweet Pea. I remember flying that little, oh no, I forgot the name of it. Little bitty thing with a 25 that just screamed. That thing was so fast it wasn't funny. I was flying hotter than that, and I thought it was too darn fast. And then Bob cranked up at 25 and just, I mean, he would have been laughing at me if we'd been racing. I don't remember the name of that thing, Bob. You took it to Tucson.
Me?
Yes.
No, you had a little.
Are we talking about the Frisky Pete?
Frisky Pete, yes.
Frisky
That's
Pete,
it. Man, that thing was screaming. I said, what in the heavens? I always think of Bob as flying slow and precise, and all of a sudden he's still flying precise, but good grief.
Well, the thing had a little wing, it glided like a set of keys,
Well, Hotter Nat was the same thing.
Well,
Hotter Nat was the same way.
That's very, very
keys.
That was a good little airplane.
Yeah, I'm telling you. The guy,
Bob,
the
you
guy
are
that bought it
famous today.
absolutely did not know how to fly it. But anyway,
Bob,
you
you are
whatever happened
famous
to it.
today. I'm also working on a Prowler too. Almost finishing the Prowler.
Oh yeah. I'll tell you a story about that Frisky Pete. I decided about 2 weeks before VSP I wanted to fly old time, so I started building it about 2 weeks before VSP. And I worked around the clock, and the only way I could get it finished to get a finish on was to put Imran on it, you know, or catalyzed fluid, which is very old timey, you know, and
I am. Very dangerous.
And I put it in the shipping box, and in the airport you could smell the Imran, you know, gassing off. I'm surprised they let me put it on the airplane, but we got it out there, and I had it on 12,000 solids, and I had no flights on it. And it was the morning of the first round of Old Time Stunt, so I went over to the back circle with Wareridge,
Mr. Whiskers,
and we put one flight on it, and it flew great right off the bat. And we took it over, and I was called to come up. So I pulled it right off the circle, the practice circle, walked across with the lines. Billy walked the lines over. We pull tested, walked it onto the circle, and I flew the first round, and it won the first round on its second flight. That's how good that airplane flew.
Wow, that's impressive.
It was a good little airplane. It tracked like a freight train.
Had nothing to do with the guy flying it, I assure you.
Nah, not really, because that's a simple pattern, you know. And it just, if you have a good airplane, you're going to score well, you know.
Well, I tell you one thing, he absolutely, everybody out there turned around, forgot what they were doing, and watched Bob fly that little Frisky Pete. It was so quick and so precise and so just.
It was very. I recommend that airplane if it wasn't for the fact that it doesn't go, you know, when the engine shuts off, it just falls out of the air like an anvil. But it really flew well. It really did.
I think that was the year I flew the Boxcar Chief, and I had a piece of fuel tubing trying to seal the needle valve. And I didn't think about in Tucson, with the air density being so much different, I had to screw the needle valve in, but I forgot to cut the tubing off. So the needle valve popped out, and I'm doing 6-second loops, not laps, loops. Mary came up. I can't remember Mary's last name, but Mary was judging.
Gebhardt.
Mary Gebhardt. She came over and she says, I want to tell you something. That was about as impressive a loops as I've ever seen. They were nice and round and they were huge. She says, I just hate you didn't have enough fuel to finish the pattern. That would have been really good. I said, yeah, it was fun while it lasted. And Dave Fitzgerald came by and said, I just want to back. I can't remember something. He had the same sentiment. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he had the same sentiment. He said, what did you do? What happened? I said, I forgot to cut the darn fuel tubing off. This is not the same air density as North Carolina. He said, oh, that goes under lessons learned. I said, yeah, I've always remembered that. I said, yes, sir. You're right. You're right. He was an interesting fellow.
That's one of the advantages of building and flying up here at right between 4,000 and 6,000 feet. You know, we go down, our planes just fly better. We love it when guys come up here and they mess around with the airplane. We just beat the pants off of. You know, they probably pulverize us like a hammer and a rock.
Yeah, but that's not going to work as well with electrics against electrics. It's not going to work the same.
No, it's not.
Hey, John, I'll come there.
He will.
You got to remember, the thinner air doesn't give you as much lift either. So.
That's a truth. That's a truth. What? I tell you, I saw some guys landing stunt wagons that I know cannot fly a stunt wagon here. I want to see some of the guys go to Florida and try to land one. I stuck 4 out of 4 landings in Florida with a stunt wagon, and I didn't worry about the scores there of the flight. I landed the plane. I got 4 good landings. I was tickled. I don't care where I placed. I was tickled. We had a great time. But anyway, it was one of those deals.
What's speed?
Was that at KOI, Phil?
No, that was at we were in I think we were in Orlando, but it was not KOI. I can't remember
Okay.
what the contest was. No, it wasn't either. It was in what's the city that's north? It's just across the line into Florida. Jacksonville. We're in Jacksonville, up there real near. Oh, I forgot his name. His house. I'm losing my
Gene
mind.
Martin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
near
Martin.
Gene's house. We're near Gene's place. I think we were 12 miles from Gene's house, and we stayed at the Holiday Inn, which in
Was
that
that
city.
with the Jax Air Base? JAX?
That sounds right.
Yeah.
It's been so long ago, I can't remember. I haven't flown that
White
plane.
House Field.
Yeah, I think it was White House Field.
White House Field.
I haven't been there in
Big
15
long
years at least.
Yeah, you can't fly there anymore. The jet guys, that's where they practice carrier landing. They have all these big giant cables. Yeah, they can stretch across, and they pulled rank on us one year and kicked us all off.
Well, we went to fly in Virginia at the NAS field where the Nationals were held one time, and that's a jet air base too. And I took a plane up there that had wing mounted gear, and gear went in the crack, and the gear's back there, and the airplane's sliding up through there. That was not a good deal. Yeah, that's it. I had a rough time.
So you landed that.
The stunt wagon.
That stunt wagon on concrete?
Oh, concrete? Yeah. I've never flown a stunt wagon on grass.
Damn.
I've never flown that thing on grass.
Yeah, that's a hard son of a gun to land on pavement.
The new one is much lighter than the old one. It's going to have the same motor in it if I ever finish it. But it'll have the same motor, but it's a lot lighter airplane, and the landing gear is not sheet aluminum this time. It's piano wire. Get some sponge in that landing gear. I think that's the secret. That and some low bounce wheels. I didn't understand that when I did the stunt wagon the first time, but Stunt 30 has sheet wire landing gear, 332nd, and it lands. I mean, you gotta mess up to bounce a landing with a Stunt Wagon 30, but Stunt Wagon 60, if you hit a landing, you've done something. I always felt like it was a successful pattern if I just got it back on the ground without boing, 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 boing.
Yeah, it's embarrassing when the judge comes up and asks you which one of the landings you want judged.
Yeah,
I don't know. My dad used to have a theory on that. He'd go 40, 35, 28, 22, 16.
Well, I tell you what, you ever get a big wagon bouncing, you're going.
Hey, Denny,
you're going to bounce.
They only count the fourth one.
That's it.
That's bad. That's bad. Well, I tell you what, I think Tom Looper won the Nationals by landing the stunt wagon. He had everybody so floored that it landed so well they didn't know what to do the next pattern. That was amazing. But I sit and watched that year. I don't remember what I had done, whether it was my wrist or my shoulder, but I had something screwed up and couldn't fly. And Luke just said, just watch. I just want you here to watch. So I stayed and watched.
When you're landing an airplane, what do you look at?
Mostly I look at the whole airplane. I'm looking basically at the wingtip, but looking at the whole airplane, and I want to get. I've always figured if the nose is down, that thing touches down, it's going to bounce. It's got to be just cocked a little bit.
I got a information which really helped a lot about landings.
Okay.
He said, "Look at the wheels.
Look at the wheels.
Focus
That's
on
a
the
good
wheel.
idea. That's one of the things I'm watching, but I kind of look at the whole thing.
He said, just focus on the wheel.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah,
worth a try.
It works for me.
It's worth a try. I'll give it a shot. Go ahead.
Another good tip is as you're descending, you get into the ground effect. Sometimes they don't want to come down. You can take a step towards the airplane.
Yep.
And
yeah, that works. I do that.
Well, that will help
but not
lower it down.
But not wanting to come down doesn't affect the stunt wagon.
If you want to land in a certain part of the circle and you want your airplane to slow up, walk towards it. It'll slow right up.
Oh, now that I didn't know. I've always taken one step as I land the wagon.
If you go back, it'll speed up. You go forward, it'll slow down.
I didn't know that. I never thought about that.
Yeah,
I'll do that next time I go.
Control line is actually a three-dimensional thing. Everybody thinks it's just up and down and left and right, but it's actually also constantly in and out as well. left and right and up and down.
I know if
Yeah.
you want anything with a rigid landing gear to stick, you've got to go out just 6-8 inches. But when it touches down, those wheels can't hit and slide. Trying to slide against the landing gear, it won't work. You gotta kind of go with it at least till it gets started, till the wheels get spinning. I think that was the secret of Al Raby's shock absorbing landing gear. It's not really shock absorber. It's just a spring. It's an ink pen spring. It won't begin to suspend that airplane, but it holds the wheels down. And when it touches, the bounce is absorbed by the spring, and you get the wheels turning. Then it'll stick. But getting those great big scale wheels he used to spinning, that was the trick. That was
And
the
that
hard
wasn't,
part.
even, that wasn't even an exaggeration.
No, they were big. They were pretty good size. Well, they were 3 inches, and the rest of us were using 2-inch Don's racing wheels.
I remember.
And here he comes with a wheel that's 3/4 of an inch wide and 3 inches tall. Golly! Of course, he also had a 6-inch nose.
I remember flying the Easy 2 Sugar Mustang in '74. We traded flights on airplanes, and that airplane really landed well. I mean, you couldn't blow a landing with that airplane.
I'll tell you what, he was a neat guy. I got to talking. I met a lot of nice people in '77, but you, Billy, and Les McDonald and Al Raby were the 4 that stand out.
Well, I wasn't there in '77, so.
Yes, you were at the team trials in Atlanta.
Team trials, yeah. Well, Al wasn't at the team trial. Oh yeah, he was.
Yes, he was.
He made the team, right?
Yeah.
How easy it is to forget.
And the man that has always stuck out in my head since I started flying at 9 years old was Mr. Gieske. Every time I got to talk to him, he was always such a gentleman.
Yeah.
He was a mess.
No doubt.
Go ahead, Charles. I'm sorry.
Now, when the plane bounces, is that indicative of the landing gear being too far forward?
Yeah.
No, you can bounce anything. Landing gear too far forward will ensure a bounce, but you can bounce anything. You've got to land it. I haven't met the airplane that lands itself. Everybody says, oh, with a 3-wheel landing, a tricycle landing gear, the plane just lands itself. No, I've got a shark that'll prove that wrong real quick. You mess it up. If you mess up a landing, it's still a messed up landing.
Bob, you were at VSC when I brought the Electra, the first Electra to the VSC.
Mm-hmm.
You remember how that landed? No, you probably didn't. But I
don't remember what I had for dinner.
Dick Williams had that thing figured out. The rubber met the ground at 18 degrees, forward of the CG.
I use 15 degrees, but yeah, 18.
That plane would come down. You get it to the ground, and you plant the wheel, and it would just stick there. It wouldn't bounce. It didn't even try to bounce. You could drive it. I mean, you didn't drive it on hard, but you could drive it on, and it would just stick and lock.
Everybody thinks that takeoffs and landings are like 3 points, and they're definitely not. They're hard.
Shoot,
you got to work at it.
Yeah.
I've won contests from what I made on a takeoff.
But
yeah, well, I don't understand sometimes, because sometimes I get good scores, sometimes I get bad scores, and I'm going like, what the heck you guys want to see in a landing or a takeoff?
Well, you have to remember, Trayan, they also, it's not just the takeoff. They count your level of flight as all
I know that.
maneuver.
Uh-huh.
So
if you want to see a perfect takeoff, watch Bob Hunt. Just watch Bobby. He does the prettiest takeoffs of anybody out there. He takes off. He'll break the ground by about that much, about 6-8 inches, and he's just very, very slowly corkscrews up to 1 lap. And at 1 lap, he's at 4 feet.
There's a trick to takeoffs, and like everything else. Most people let the airplane roll and let it lift off on its own. First thing I do is I give down elevator. I get the airplane up to the vanes and let it get flying, and then you just gently relax the back on the stick until the airplane breaks, and then you can hold it. But if you let it fly off on its own, it's already ahead of you. You got to fly the airplane on the ground, and then you release the pressure a little bit till it breaks, and then you can catch it, and then you can keep it down and bring it up to level at 1 lap at the point where it started rolling. That that takes work. I learned that from Schaefer.
I learned it from you.
Schaefer was the best takeoff guy.
I learned it from you. I started watching you.
You should kind of max out and roll out for at least a quarter of a lap to help you kind of get a nice.
Well, no more than a quarter lap. You can't go more than a quarter lap.
No more than a quarter.
You got to be airborne.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to try to yank it in the air and figure they're going to get max takeoff points. And I mean, when you're winning and losing contests by no more than the top 3 guys, 3 points between them, you cannot give up takeoff points. You cannot give up landing points. You're not going to win.
Well, if that many people are that close together, it means the judges are not using the spread.
You know, Denny's dad, when I was way back, and it was in Milwaukee, and he was given a stunt clinic, and he watched us all fly and gave us some points, but then he sat us all down and he said, you know, he says, there's one thing you got to understand. Giving up takeoff and landing is not, I'm paraphrasing, not the way to go. He says in every flight, there's 2 things that you're going to have to do, no matter what happens between them, and that's a takeoff and a landing. And you do it every flight. You need to study it. You need to practice.
Yeah.
You know, there is no reason, what I came up with,
those points.
There's no reason giving up those points, and there's no reason that you can't be within at least 5 points of maximum on takeoff and landing if you practice. And those other, if you're not there, you're giving points up.
I'll tell you one thing. I went to a
Go ahead, Bob. You first.
I went to tricycle landing gear on one of my crossfires, and I hadn't had a tricycle landing gear airplane, I don't think, since the 105 back in '72. And you don't see a whole lot of tricycle landing gear airplanes, you know, at the Nationals. And I figured I wanted to do it on my twin eventually, so I tried it on the crossfire. I never had so many 40s on takeoffs and landings as I did with that airplane. I don't know why more people don't go to tricycle landing gear airplanes.
Yeah, John is in there. Now go ahead, Jim. You were going to say something, Jim. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to kind of follow up on Bob with one of the things that I do. I've gotten quite a few 40s at the Nats on my landing. And one of the things I do is I make sure I have plenty of prop clearance. And I put a very short tail wheel on. And that way, when I come down to land with just 2 gear, I'm landing on the mains.
Okay.
And you're just, one of the other tricks is that when you land, you kind of walk ahead of the airplane just a little bit to keep it from, you know, wanting to circle into the circle. Right. And when you land on your mains and just let the plane actually slow down, the tail wheel is way up off the ground, and it will just slowly go down until it touches the ground.
Yep. If you ever watch Raby, when Raby landed, he always did wheel landings, and he'd come to us almost to a complete stop, and the airplane would just drop and roll. The tail wheel would go about a revolution and a half.
Right.
Yeah.
One of the things about trike gear, to relate to what you just said, Bob, talking with Gordon and that when we worked on the Pathfinder, you know, the trike gear, we found that he said if you've got your mains back too far behind the CG, you have to give it more elevator to get it to lift, and then when it lifts, it pops up.
It leaps off. Yeah, the gear has to go to be just behind the CG.
If a properly done Pathfinder, even the big one, when it sits there with no fuel in the tank, the tail will sit down onto the ground.
Yeah.
And that means that as you're taking off, you just have to think to lift. You don't really have to, you know, I usually, Brickhouse taught me this, where you start down, he'd get down in a real low crouch and he'd be down with his hand probably 3 feet or more or less above the ground. And he'd put his hand out to this way, his body, and when he got right here, is right just before he got to quarter was where he would lift off. And it's all a matter of having the plane on trike gear having the plane prepared to just rotate ever so easily without making it pop up. And it works for landing as well, like Bob described. You get really high landing and takeoffs because the mains are just behind the CG. So you bring them in just like you do a main gear, but you got that front gear on there. And you get on there, you just I'll hit it. I'll try if I hit it nice and smooth, don't bounce. Get the nose wheel down, and I'll put a little down. And Bart Klipinski likes to go around on trike gear and hold the nose up all the way around. And I've seen him do that. He'll bring it around, and nose gear will be off the ground. He's just rolling, and then just drop it. Different strokes for different folks.
When you take off, do you pull back on your handle, or you just raise your hand?
Just raise my hand.
That's what I do. I just raise my hand. If I try turning my hand, I've over controlled it. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I make a little holder because
that's good looking.
The mains were so close to the center of gravity that when I didn't have the battery in, it would drop down on the tail. So I had to make a little holder, to keep it from dropping on its tail.
I thought he did that to keep his wheels from getting flat spots.
Yeah, definitely that.
Now, Bob, when you set your tricycle landing gear up, do you make sure that your axles are perfectly in a straight line?
No,
with the datum line.
So they're a little toe ends because that makes it roll straight. If you have them roll toe out, the airplane will go all over the place. If you even on my regular,
yes,
I toe them in a little bit so the track straight.
That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the mains in comparison to the nose gear. Because I've flown RC planes that would have a little negative incident.
Oh no, I set it up.
And man, you set them straight?
I set it dead level. I tried to put the nose down. It would hop off. If I had the nose down, I have to pull the nose up. It would hop off the ground. Yep. I set it up level. It would just fly off.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
Each airplane may be different.
Yeah, I know that.
You never know. Each airplane may be a little
Don't you prefer a little nose down?
No, I don't think so. Not with most airplanes. I've flown a lot of tricycle landing gear RC planes, and when you have that nose down, when you get ready to take off, you got to give a lot of up. And man, before you know it, that thing's 5 feet in the air.
Right.
You want a gentle lift off.
Okay.
Yeah, the nose down is great for landings and awful for takeoffs.
John, about.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guys, I'll be back in a little bit. My grandson's here. He's getting ready to leave. I'm going to spend a few minutes with him, and I'll be back. That is a pretty airplane. Bob, what is that? What is that on that plane, though? It looks like the blue. It looks like there's a scoop underneath the bottom of the turtle deck. It almost looks like a landing gear door or something.
Oh yeah, they're simulated gear doors. They do two things. They give me some more area in the nose, which I like, vertical area, but also that I was able to put a little wicker bill in there to pull the air out after.
Okay.
You just put a hole in there; it won't come out. Put a little wicker bill in there. It'll form a low pressure area and suck the air out of it. Yeah. And besides, it looks cool.
It does look cool. I'll catch you guys in a little bit.
Hey, Bob, what's the difference between? All right, Phil. Hey, Bob, what's the difference between? Is there a lot of difference between? That's a Crossfire Extreme. I bought a set of plans.
Well, this is the XLTC.
It would be what?
This is the
XLTC.
Yeah, it's an inch longer wing panels. It's a half-inch longer tail, inch longer nose, and an inch longer tail length.
Okay. My question is about your wing. Now, I have a Crossfire Extreme, and it looks very similar to the Genesis wing that I bought from you. The core, the rib itself. Are they the same airfoil?
The Crossfire is nothing. The Crossfire is nothing more than a 1980 Genesis with a rudder. So it is.
Okay, I got you.
When we change them,
Well, that's good
I'll
because
be
I
right
got the
back,
plans and
another picture of it here. You see how deep the nose is.
It's beautiful.
Igor believes in that deep nose thing too. He believes in having a lot of area, vertical area, in front of the wing, and I tend to agree with him.
yeah, Yashinkos are the same too. If you look at a shark or any of those, they have pretty big nose up front, a lot of area.
Yeah,
but they use the cheek cows too. I don't know what that really does for you. Probably nothing.
I've never had one with cheek cows. I've always wanted to make one with cheek cows.
Before we totally leave the landings and takeoffs, I just have a question. Do you think that there's a correlation between how the plane lands and takes off? In other words, you won't have a plane that lands really good and takes off terrible, right? I mean, they're usually like the quality of the landing and the takeoff are pretty much the same. If there's a problem with the landing gear, it affects them both the same. Good or bad?
That's a good question.
I don't know. I think maybe on a trike or something like that, and a tail dragger. I think you can you can put the landing gear anywhere in a tail dragger and it'll take off fine, but you're going to get into grief on landings. And the trike, if you make it really, if you set it really nose high or nose low, it can get you into trouble. But I don't know.
One thing I did on this airplane is I had Tommy Hampshire make me a little device that captured the landing gear wire in like a split ring, so that I was able to adjust the gear up and down and left and right. The nose gear could go up or down and left and right. You could adjust it infinitely, and until you get it right.
Okay.
Wow, that's a neat.
And you had a little when you bent your wire, you put some camber on your main gears, Bob.
Yeah, the main gear it has.
Is it toe in or camber?
Toe in, not camber. It has toe in. Is that what they call camber?
No, camber would be the vertical angle of the axe of the wheel.
Yeah, the axe. Both. It had toe in so that it would track straight. Not a whole lot, just a tiny bit.
Okay.
But I always, when I bend the landing gear, I put them in the airplane, take it out into my driveway, and I roll it down the driveway 1,000 times until I get it all so it rolls, dead straight. I don't want it to roll out too far either. A lot of people say make them go out, but if you make them go out, they're going to scrub. And if you make them come in, obviously they're going to chase you around the circle. So it's important to take some time when you're setting up your landing gear to get it to roll dead straight.
Yeah, which is actually a circle, which usually means that you have to have, one wheel in front of the other, as far as slightly in front of the other with a conventional, or do you have any, maybe a slight bit of left nose gear? It's aimed into the circle just a little bit.
Well, I don't know if that one had left or not, but I mean, it didn't track on the circle. It
doesn't take.
It tracks straight. It didn't track out. It tracks straight.
Okay.
Yeah. But that little device, I guess Tommy said, we should make those for the 3 or 4 people in the whole world that might want one from now on. It's really not going to be a big ticket item, not going to sell a lot of them, but that little device that holds the landing gear, that you can go in there and take a set screw or a screw and loosen it up, and you can turn the gear left or right, and you can move it up or down. That really is beneficial, It's setting up because when you're building a trike, it's always difficult to get the mains and the nose at the right, get everything so that it sits right. But if you have that nose gear infinitely adjustable, you could go to the field and in one day you can get it right where you want it.
I like that idea.
Yeah,
I'd like to see that.
And it's simple.
Yeah, one other thing about, at least from my experience on taking off, I actually have 2 sets of landing gear for my tracer. I have one where the wheels are further back, and that one is set up to take off on concrete. And then I have one more forward so that I can take off on grass, and when I land, it doesn't end up going up on the nose.
Yeah, I think most people have that 2 sets of gear for airplanes, for grass and for asphalt.
Yeah. And that was a good hint. That was a good hint. If you haven't tried, whenever I take off, I always get down nice and low to the ground. And you just, again, you're trying to get the gentlest takeoff. It takes balls, I'm telling you, when you got a $50 Igor prop on the front.
You get down, yeah.
To be 3 inches off the ground. Oh my God.
I'll tell you another trick. I'll tell you the most valuable trick about takeoffs. This will save you're talking about braking propellers. And I'll tell you the most valuable trick about taking off. In heavy wind, where do you take off?
I take off upwind.
2 degrees before dead upwind. Why?
So the
wind
pushes
pushes
your rudder out
rudder.
and it nose out.
Yeah, exactly. You have a weather vane.
Yeah.
And you want the wind to push the tail in and the nose out. Once you pass upwind, the airplane has enough speed that it's aerodynamic, and you can then fly it. It's not going to. Your wind's not going to push it over at that point. But if you set it downwind, every time it's going to go nose down and break the prop. And people keep doing it over and over and over again. I can't understand it. 2 degrees before dead upwind.
They like to break props. What's so hard to understand?
Yeah.
Yeah, let me do some housekeeping.
I'm not into breaking props.
Do some housekeeping real quick. We have 22 viewers, and we have 16 likes. So if you could please smash the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Hit the join button, and that helps our channel out. To join is only $4.99 a month. That's just 17 cents a day. And also the comments, we hardly get any comments. Those also are added into the matrix and analytics of the channel. So do all those things if you could, please. I greatly appreciate it.
I did it before I got in. I already liked it.
Thank you.
Charles.
Thank you.
Hey, I got billing to do tomorrow, so I'm gonna have to check out. I got to get up early, so it was fun as always. I wish I could stay later, but
I appreciate it.
Well, by the way, this Friday I get my COVID vaccine.
All right.
Has anybody else got it yet? No?
Not yet. I'm 63, so I got to wait a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I'll be 69 here pretty soon, so I figure if I'm going to try to make any contests, I better go get my vaccine because the virus probably be going crazy by the summertime.
Yeah. My wife has an
who knows what
disorder. I'd like to get the shot just to ensure her continued health because I don't want to get sick.
Yeah.
My wife's health's already been compromised, so I can't get sick.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a real danger to some older people and some not. So, I mean, it's like Don Cranfield. Those of you guys that met him at the Nats, he passed away. Him and his wife both got COVID-19, and it killed him, which broke my heart. But
it
killed him. He's all right.
It seems to affect men a little bit harder than women. It seems like when spouses get it, it seems like the wife comes out of it more times than the husband, it seems like. I mean, that's just been an observation on my part. And I could be totally wrong, but that's what I've seen.
Well, my wife died.
Well, I have a.
My wife died April 1st from COVID. And my neighbor across.
Is that right?
Yeah, and my neighbor across the street behind me. His wife just died 2 weeks ago from COVID. They both got COVID. He survived.
Oh.
She didn't. So every rule there's always.
Yeah. Exceptions.
Always something. Hey guys, I
Well,
remember Sparky has cautioned us about talking about that, so we can't talk about that stuff for some reason.
Okay.
So,
I got another picture here for Denny.
Okay.
This is strict. Denny, you still with us there?
I'm still here.
This is for you.
Oh.
That's a high aspect ratio.
ooh, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's it's pretty high.
Moderate,
But,
yeah.
yeah.
You
That's
like that
pretty.
airplane, though. I remember when I flew it in that. You like that airplane.
Oh, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. And
I
you
like
do a
those
lot of other,
stabilizers.
we do the same thing with the swept forward hinge line, which just makes everything so much better. And,
Yeah, it reduces the stick load and it keeps
yeah, I'm just a
it
big
keeps
fan
the
of
right
keeping,
cord as a straight line tip to tip. It's so many good things.
yeah. Yeah, I like the idea, at least the idea, be simplistic about it. If you just think of keeping the high point straight from tip to
Yeah,
tip,
yeah.
it basically drives you into a swept forward hinge line. And
That's about as high as aspect ratio airplane as I've ever built. I know that's low aspect ratio compared to some of the stuff you built, but you know.
well, and didn't you say that you added you added 2 inches of span to that compared to normal?
Yeah,
Or
2 inches over the standard.
yeah. Your stuff was all, and I know in the past you've talked about you built some iterations of the Genesis and stuff with higher aspect wings.
Yeah. I want to build a real high aspect ratio one, just like one of yours, like the Eclipse or
Yeah.
you know.
I still plan on trying to get the Eclipse back in the swing here, and I never have shown off the Mythbuster at the Nationals. I don't know. I should do that too. So.
You still have that Eclipse?
Oh yeah, I've got the last one. I've got the one that I built for the '83 Nats. So I figure bringing that to the 2021 Nats.
The black, yellow, and red one.
Hmm?
The black one?
No, the black one was the first, and I built 2 light blue ones. So the one that I have is the one that basically matches the magazine plan.
Okay.
And it's got things like the really thick stab on it that we were all most fashionable. I call it the Teddy, the Teddy stab. Yeah, because his stuff was doing that, and I was definitely into what he was doing then and stuff. And he kind of, we all kind of evolve into things and out of things.
And it had the flaps that were integral to the airfoil.
Which seemed like a good idea at the time.
Well, that was one of the best flying airplanes. If you had a little bit more power in that thing would have been.
Yeah. Well, as you know now, getting power into it is no longer an issue.
Yeah.
So,
flying that with a modern electric system would be just incredible.
Yeah.
You had a Max 35 in that thing?
Yep.
Wow.
Well, the last one I built actually turned out about 6 ounces lighter than the previous ones too. That was a good thing. So it was actually the most powerful one, obviously the most powerful one of the bunch, and it had a lot of performance in it that the others didn't have.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically was inactive. I built the thing, and then I stopped flying. But my brothers, my nephew, everybody else, the airplane's been flown all over the place. Everybody's flown it, likes it. They all say it's too nose heavy, because that's what they say about all my airplanes. But,
have you ever thought about doing another Magister?
Yeah.
I was just thinking about that.
I found the canopy form for it. So yeah,
that would be a great electric airplane with no head sticking down,
Yeah, absolutely. That would be a good choice. And actually, I wanted to build the real Magister. It was supposed to have a long, skinny wing in it, and so I wanted to do the whole trip on it and modernize it.
Which one flew better, the red one or the silver one or the gray one?
Oh boy, I don't know. They both had the same power in it. One was 50 square inches bigger. The red one was 50 squares bigger and 8 ounces heavier. All right, so.
Yeah.
I think the gray one had more potential in it, although I don't know that it really, well.
Then you won the Walker Cup.
The red one won the Walker Cup, so how badly I'm not going to knock it too badly,
It's the Walker Trophy, by the way. This is something everybody said that's the Walker Cup. It's the Walker Trophy. The Walker Cup is what you get at the World Championships. The Walker Trophy is what you get at the Nationals.
Well, all right.
It's not a cup. So that's the point of.
Well, as somebody who actually has his name on both of them, I guess that would matter, wouldn't it? So.
Well, actually, I don't have my name on both of them. I have my name on the Walker Trophy, but the team name is on the Walker Cup.
Ah.
I have my name on the Woolly Cup. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Woolly Cup is for the individual. The Walker Cup is for the team champion.
Now, of all those, the one I'm going to show you now is the one I got to put my name on yet, but the one that actually I'm most proud of.
All right.
Uh-oh.
Hey, Howard Rush, your camera, we can't see you and we can't hear you. Your mic's turned off. I don't know if that's deliberate or not, but your camera and your mic are not on, Howard.
Can you read that?
Sure can. Gene Schaefer Memorial Cup.
Am I on now?
Ooh.
That's the one I'm most proud of.
We hear you.
Gene was my hero.
Wow, very nice.
That's awesome.
And what's that award?
On there, Joe Daly twice. So and actually, he gets another one than mine because he didn't put his last tag on. So I got to. But that.
Very nice.
Yeah, that was one I'm real proud of.
Wow, beautiful.
Well, Schaefer was quite the flyer.
So you get to keep that cup, that trophy. You don't. It's not something you bring back.
That's a perpetual.
Okay.
I know. But I fully intend to have it again next year.
Very good.
All right.
A man with a plan.
Making it a permanent.
I plan on keeping it for a while.
Yeah, very good. Absolutely, man. I'm happy to hear that.
Joe Daly may have other thoughts, but we'll see.
That's right.
He's really getting good. Have you ever seen him fly? Well, you've seen him fly, right, Doran?
Yeah, I see you.
He took seventh at the Nationals with a backup airplane. So.
Thanks, Howard. I can see you now. Thank you very much. And I want to say hi, Lynn, and hi, Eddie. Thanks for coming in, like you said you would.
Hi, guys.
Do that.
Yeah, I'd say Howard looks like the Mr. Bill show, doesn't he? The Mr. Hands, whatever.
American-made pin.
Yeah.
All we see is the workbench, not Howard.
You see the hands.
Oh,
there we
I was
go.
wondering why you were saying American-made pins, Bob. I didn't know what you were talking about. Now I talking about the box is American-made pins. Awesome.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
The other made in China.
Real modelers use pins. New modelers use CA.
Yeah. Biggest trouble with CA is it's too hard to chew off your fingers.
Damn right it is.
And what about tape? I think modern builders use a lot of tape also.
At least y'all got teeth to chew it off. I'd have had to suck it off.
Whoops.
It takes a long time to lick that glue off.
Eddie, remember chewing Ambroid off your fingers?
Absolutely.
Oh
yeah. It was like
CA.
That was like, while you sat there and watched the ball game or something like that. That was like your snack, like chew
I used to do it.
Chew the glue off your fingers.
Yeah. You think I had leprosy or something,
Yeah. Heck, the only way I can get CA off is with the permagrit sanders.
Yeah.
Tight bond was always good for chewing off too.
What was?
Tight bond.
Tight bond, yeah.
Yeah.
That was always good for chewing off your fingers.
I've said this before. Has anybody tried Tight Bond 3?
No.
No, only 2. I got to check 3.
I'm using Tight Bond 3 exclusively now. It takes a little longer.
Awesome.
It soaks in better. It sands. It's easier for joining skins. It's just a better glue. It's
awesome.
It's more like a Luthier's glue.
Okay. I got to get some. That's awesome. Thanks, Bob.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Is it the brown glue or the white glue?
It's like a tan glue. It's almost like a hide glue,
Just like the regular wood glue.
Yeah. It's not like Tight Bond. I mean, like the Tight Bond 2, which is more of a yellow. This is more tan.
Okay. I'll have to check that out. That's awesome.
It's like that old pica glue. Remember that glue, Denny, that old pica glue we used to use?
Yeah.
Kind of like that. And it sands like that too.
What's cure time on it?
Well, I guess it depends on how much you use and how tight, how much how big a joint you're making, and
Right.
it takes longer than type on, which I like because it gives you more working time, but it also gives you more soaking.
Soak in. Yeah. It
soaks
soaks in
better.
better. Cool.
I want to
But
start my wife's.
Is that an epoxy?
I got to get my wife's iPad and set it up so I can go down into the shop and I'll do some. I got a few tips and techniques I'd like to show.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Now, do you use the tight bonds for ribs and everything, or just skinning?
I use it to join my skins. Yeah. I use it for a lot of things now, but actually building built-up wings, I'm still using the medium grade CA for most of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I use on wings
I was just
too.
wondering how using that, how you'd hold your ribs together long enough for it to sit up straight without them waving. Where you tack it with the CA, they're there,
Yeah. No, I use CA when I'm building the built-up lost foam wings, and
okay.
Yeah, but I use this Tight Bond 3 for joining skins. It makes the tightest, best joints of anything I've ever used, and it's the easiest stuff to use. I have to show you a technique I'm doing. It's very simple, virtually no sanding required. It's just really amazing.
I have a little comment here on the chat box. Tom Bramble says, I use Type Bond 3. It is waterproof, and a lot of my planes are seaplanes.
Yeah, that's the other thing about it. It is waterproof. So if you are soaking like a leading edge shell, and a lot of people soak the whole shell, the whole skin to make the shell.
Right.
And if you do that with regular Type Bond or CA, sometimes they come apart.
Right.
Yeah, because you don't get enough bond.
Type Bond 3 being waterproof, it won't come apart. But lately, I haven't been soaking the whole skin, the whole shell skin anyway. You only need it to be to wrap it around the tightest part of the leading edge. So if you just take, if you make your skin out of 3 pieces of balsa wood and the center piece is a constant cord piece, then you can just take a wet paper towel, soak it, and just wet the center, and then wrap it around the mold. Where it goes up over the ribs is a gentle curve. You don't have to have that all molded in. Just
soaking wet, exactly.
Tight leading edge, and it's a lot better than soaking that whole piece of wood.
I took your advice on that. You posted something on it where you just make a little cap, and I mold that little cap and then glue that in place.
Yeah.
And then I'll just take a straight piece, just wet the top a little bit, and do join it and that right on the wing.
Well, something else in doing leading edge shells for built-up wings, you can't make a piece of quarter grain wrap around a tight radius. It'll break. I don't care how good you are; it's going to break. But you can use it on the shallow curve, just aft of the leading edge radius. And it makes it a lot stronger. So if you join a couple of pieces of quarter grain to a piece of A grain, and make the A grain go around the leading edge, and then the C grain will bend down over the ribs, and it makes a much stronger wing, and you don't get any of that starved horse look.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm not familiar with quarter grain. I'm familiar with A grain and.
You ever see a piece of wood that looks like it has fish scales in it?
Yeah, isn't that C grain?
Quarter grain. You try to.
That's C grain.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't curl at all. It's really good for like laps or ribs or something like that because it doesn't curl.
When you were
but it tends to be brittle too. So.
You were making your fully sheeted built-up wings, all those wings you make. Did you?
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there's
quarter grain. That's quarter grain 101 right there.
There it is.
Quarter grain.
That is a great picture.
There you go.
So, quarter grain is different than C grain?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well,
C grain is quarter grain, but
yeah.
Okay.
You have A, B, and C. Okay. And quarter grain comes out of it's like if you look at the log. Let me see if I can get myself on screen here. If you look at the log like that, this long log, and A grain is cut this way, and B grain is like cut this way, but C grain, if you have the log this way, is cut out of the angle.
All right. Okay.
Right, and the rings of wood go through it vertically instead of running horizontally. It's very, very stable and strong, but it won't bend. You can't, if you can't bend it, it'll break.
Right. So it'd be good for spars and stuff like that.
I'd say not for spar. I think A-grain is
for sheeting.
Fuselage sides.
I thought it was C-grain.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want to use that. Yeah, you want to use that on flaps, elevator. You want to use it on fuselage sides.
Yeah, it tends
Maybe
not to
if you
warp.
have a wing spar in the center, it's good over there. Like a vertical for an I-beam spar.
It's great when you're doing a fully sheeted built-up wing. And Denny, when I started building fully sheeted built-up wings, he told me to try to get the rib spacing no more than 1.6 inches.
Yeah, I think I probably told you 1.5.
1.5.
Yeah.
With the C-grain, you can actually move that out to about 1.6. Because it won't sink down in between the ribs. It stays very stable.
Stays stable.
But you can't get it to wrap around the leading edge. So if you're going to move leading edge, you're going to take a piece out of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? I got to catch up on the chat box again. I missed you, Ronnie Layden. I'm sorry. You said it'll take your fingertips off. I imagine you're referring to when we was talking about the CA glue and eating off our fingers and stuff. And welcome,
trying to eat it off your
I think you've been here before, so please come back. And if you are at your computer, which you probably are, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and consider joining our YouTube channel membership. You can hit the join button, and don't forget to like and share and comment.
Yeah.
And welcome. Thank you.
I got to like him before I come on.
Appreciate it. You're up to 18 likes, and we've had as many as over 25 viewers. So we're a little bit shy on the likes, but we're really shy on the donations, the super chats. We really need some super chats. That helps. That helps the channel. Helps Sparky. Helps me. So we definitely need some super chats and some memberships. Please consider donating or joining, or both.
Yeah, Sparky was talking about it last night. Maybe it was this morning or something. I can't remember. He was talking about how many members he had. He had like a little over 2,700 members, but only 1% were paid members. Like 27 of us. I'm a paid member. Comes out. I just put it. It comes out once a month.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like $5 a month, something like that. Like I say, those of y'all that drink coffee, one Starbucks a month, so it's not much.
No,
but
I'm a member.
It helps.
I'm a member. I joined before I started hosting it, and I just continued. I don't even miss the $5 a month, but that's everyone's decision. I'm just thinking if you find value in it, and if you love what we do and love the hobby and all that, it really does help. And Sparky is pretty much the one that's doing so much for our hobby. I mean, John Brodak did an awful lot, and other people have done an awful lot too. I know Bob Hunt, been editor for Molly Flying Magazine.
He was an editor till he lost his mind because he worked so dang hard.
And he's given an awful lot. So
we want to remind you again, John, because we're going to do it again here real quick. We're going to be doing it again. So.
Fantastic.
Hey, Denny, does this look familiar?
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Those are 1.6-inch spacing.
Yeah, I gotta find them. You're using a lost foam, spectacular wing jig and everything like that. But when we were building our wings, my dad, the tool maker, of course, he used to make all the fixture blocks for supporting the leading and trailing edges, and they were all like exactly the right height. Then when he flipped the wing over, he had another set that were cut on an angle, typically a 7-degree angle, so that when you put the finished, the carved trailing edge, you sat it back down, it was already carved to the shape of the airfoil.
Wow.
And it was at a 7-degree angle and everything like that. And let's just say I didn't tweak a flap for about 10 years, all right? So we were building all those sparless wings like that. So
Yeah, you were the one that talked me through how to get started on that. So,
well, I mean, obviously you were 99% past it before you even started too. The only thing, I think the only encouragement on that was, when you're looking at foam wings and looking at ribbed wings, and like, gee, on a foam wing, the balsa's doing all the work, and if you're going to make a fully sheeted wing, if you put enough ribs in there to support the sheeting, then it's going to be just as strong.
Yep.
And spars and stuff like that, they're nice. They don't really add anything. Well, they do add something. They add something if you're going to put the wing or wheels in the wing or something like that. Then
Right.
yeah, it gives you a lot better way to control or to spread out the load and stuff like that.
This was the big twin, the real big twins we made, the 720 square inch twins,
Mm-hmm.
and that's Buddy and I each made.
Mm-hmm.
So that had the tension and compression joiners, those basswood spars that were behind the C tubes.
Mm-hmm.
That was it had the shear webs. Put shear webs in. You could, after you get the bottom sheeting piece on, you can put shear webs in. You get all kinds of things in those things. It's really neat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
And when they're done, they just look like foam wings when they're completed. I mean, they're really
Mm-hmm.
I think I have a picture of one complete here someplace.
I got a question about twins. If you do you run one engine clockwise and the other in counter, or both of them counter?
I do. I've tried them. Well, actually, Howard gave me. He actually supplied me with a trim syllabus to all the different iterations you can do. Well, we ended up flying them basically with the tops of the props turning towards the canopy.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
Turning inward.
Having Bob talk to us about this, and I'm sure that he's right. But I can tell you that the little red Pathfinder twin, they're both going the same direction. Standard rotation.
I flew the second wind twin with every iteration except with them both turning outward, which was the way the little red twin, the Pathfinder did, and that flew great. And then I flew them with them both turning inward, and I flew them every way, but with the tops of the props going away from the canopy. It was like a P-38 Lightning split. That's the only trial.
I didn't know with the airplanes. I know with real twin engine boats with outboard motors on them, you have them counter rotating to offset the torque of the engines. I didn't know if the airplanes did the same thing.
Yeah.
With the control line, if the torque would help push it to the outside of the circle versus a smoother flight with them counter rotating or what? I didn't know.
I wanted everything canceling and it flew like it was jet flight. I mean, it really did. It just it was really an amazing feel when you got it. There was no spiral airflow around the fuselage and nothing hitting the vertical fin, and it had all those trim problems went away.
Okay.
It's truly amazing when you get a well trimmed out twin flying.
Oh,
okay. Can you do that with the IC engines? Will they run just as efficient either way?
Well, a good argument for that being so is that little red Pathfinder profile twin that Gordon built, and we've all flown it, and it's probably one of the best flying airplanes that any of us have flown. It's just incredible, and both motors were turning the same way, the standard rotation.
Just curious. I mean, I've got plans. I don't know if I'll ever build it or not. It may not ever work. It was an RC plans for a twin Mustang that I was gonna reduced to make, but I've had the plans for forever, probably 10 years now, and I still hadn't got around to building them. But I didn't know, with being a twin, I'm unfamiliar with that monster. So
Well, Eddie, IC engines. I mean,
Ooh, beautiful.
Electric power is so superior in a twin configuration because on an IC engine you got to get them both within a gnat's eyebrow, power wise and matched, and you got to be an engine man to want to fly a twin on an IC. You just got to enjoy, and that's part of it. With electrics, you dial it in and you're there.
It's a no-brainer with electric. You just put them in and hook them up and go fly. The only thing you got to be careful of is getting. And the first time we flew the test bed twin, the airplane before this one that's on screen, I thought it was going to pull my arm out of its socket. And when I took off, the thing almost chased me around the circle. And it's because I forgot to check the relative RPM of the two motors. I had the outboard motor turning quite a bit faster than the inboard motor, and it was 75 RPM faster. And then when I reversed it, I put the inboard motor turning 75 RPM more. I thought I was going to break the lines and pull my arm out of its socket. So it's really dramatic, the effect you get from a little bit of differential in the motor speed. But with electric, once you get it where you want it, it's going to be there every flight.
Right.
And we ended up with 25 RPM more on the inboard motor than on the outboard motor.
Wow. Well, you wouldn't think 25 RPMs would be that's significant.
You wouldn't think so, but it was just perfect. A 75 was way too much differential.
Okay, now what about a staggered motor? Would that? I mean, how much would that affect it?
You mean offset motor?
Yeah.
I don't know.
If by chance you didn't get them perfectly lined up.
That's a good question.
If you got 1/4 inch back on your inboard wing, would it want to come in on you?
The little red Pathfinder has got the inboard is lined up with the center line of the fuselage, so it's dead straight ahead. The outboard though is off about a degree to the outboard. Okay. The idea that there's only one reason that was done. That was for the odd engine out situation. If the inboard engine quit, you did not want it torquing in at you.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about this. If your outboard engine is 1/4 inch forward of your inboard engine, would that cause it to want to turn in, or if it's still lined up, it shouldn't matter? Or I've never run a twin that way. I've never seen one set up. I hadn't either. I'm just saying if by chance you did build it and it come screwed up like that, where you had one that was 1/4 inch off, would that really affect it any?
Oh, that's just so beautiful.
That is gorgeous, Bob. I don't think within limitations that it would bother too much.
I mean, because if it's still in line with if your thrust angle is the same, in theory it shouldn't.
Yeah, but Eddie, I'll tell you this: when you set up a twin, you set up and you make sure that everything is 0-0, or if you got a little down thrust in, that they're both the same. Everything. You spend some extra time, because if you don't get it aligned properly, you will fight it. It'll fight you
forever.
Yeah, you got to get those. The nacelles have to be mounted to the wing absolutely perfectly. And actually, you don't mount the nacelles to the wing; you mount the airplane to the nacelles.
Right.
Here's actually a picture that shows how we did that. Let me get it up here. We mounted the nacelles on blocks, and then we put it onto a piece of foam that was cut dead flat, and we put lineup marks on the foam, and then we put the airplane into the nacelles, lined the airplane up, and then glued everything up. And we were sure that the nacelles were in the proper orientation to each other.
That is nice.
Right.
Let's see if I can find a picture that shows the thing together now.
Those are just sexy looking nacelles, Bob.
They're beautiful, man.
That was like a 6-year project. Getting that thing.
I'm not getting any of Bob's pictures. This
Bob
sucks.
makes very beautiful planes. I mean, the looks of them, the balance, they're just sexy, beautiful. I'm sorry.
It's fun to do. That's what drew me to stunt was the looks of the airplanes. You know, I love the way the airplanes look.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see, I got another picture here that may show a little bit more of that.
Yeah, your nacelles, the noses, they're beautiful.
Now the twin electrics, they'll have everything's doubled. You know, you got is your timers? You got one timer, two timers.
Yeah, one timer, two ESCs, one battery.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and that was just sitting in there. You know, it wasn't even lined up yet. But that's how you align it. You don't put the nacelles on the airplane. You put the airplane on the nacelles.
Exactly.
And it worked perfectly every time. We built a number of them now, and they won't work fine.
Bob, what's your weapon of choice for timer?
I'm using the Fiorati.
The Fiorati.
Yeah, and the reason I'm using the Fiorati is I'm old, and you know, at the end of the flight, I like that little blue light stops flashing and tells me I got 10 seconds before the motor shuts off.
Mm-hmm.
The other one just shuts off. You got to have a stopwatch or something, or a wristwatch so you can watch it. You know,
That's what I do.
I don't want to do that. I want to have the thing tell me by going on full solid blue. I know I got 10 seconds. So if I'm inverted doing something dumb, I have time to get upright. You know.
Have a little air horn on it or something so you can hear it.
You know, Howard got a setup too that guarantee he could use the Igor setup, and he can have a light too. He has a setup for that.
Yeah, he borrows the I think what Howard did is he borrowed the signal from the Igor timer, and it's only active for a certain portion of the flight, and the other portion of the flight, like at the start and the end, is done by the chip itself. It's kind of bypassing.
I flew the Igor timer, and it flies great. I mean, you know, the operation, I don't see any difference really in the operation between the Igor timer and the Fiorati. Once you get used to one or the other, they both work great. But I like the features of the Fiorati, the light feature. You know when the motor's going to start, you know when it's going to shut off. It's got a automatic gear down for any reason at all. Because I use retracts in the twin. For any reason at all, if the motor shut off, the gear comes down and locks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, at the National, everybody would say to me, "Man, I love it when the gear goes up." I said, "Yeah, well, I love it when the gear comes down."
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I thought Fiorati has an additional setup for compared to the Igor. It can set up the up line and the down lines a little bit to give them some modifiers in there.
Yeah,
like when a nose up, give a little extra boost. Nose down.
Good features. I mean, the Fiorati has that G-force feature you can turn on. It has the nose up feature. It's got a lot of features in it, and I don't use many of those at all. But
is that all controlled by the ESC?
Mm-hmm.
Your speed and your RPMs and all that. What you're talking about, or is that a separate?
Well, there's an actual timer. You program the ESC. Maybe Doran can expound on this. He's more of an electronics guy than I am. So.
Yeah, I'm just like I say, I'm a virgin to all this electronic stuff, so I don't know, what's going on. So I didn't know if.
Well, you got a program box. You got a program box, and you can program, the set RPM for level flight, and then you can program how much boost you get and how much braking you get, and you can adjust those independent of each other.
Bob, I don't
got
think
like
got
an
the basics
accelerometer
done.
in it to know when you're climbing and when you're diving or something?
Yeah, I don't think it has the basics done. It's like in electric setup you have an ESC, which is an electronic speed controller.
Yeah.
And you have the motor. The ESC, it's usually connected to a receiver in RC world, right?
Right.
But so in RC world, you have the transmitter in your hand, you give it power, take away power, and that signal goes to the ESC, and the ESC interprets the command and makes the motor go up, down, whatever, In control line, we cannot use a RC receiver because of the rules. So that has been the receiver in place of the receiver. It has been replaced with a timer. And there are different timers. There are the active timers that they actually look at the G forces, they look at the gyro, stuff like that, does calculations and outputs the signal to the ESC, which runs the motor, right?
So okay,
it's
so it knows if you're climbing and when you're diving.
yeah, exactly, yeah, because it has an accelerometer, it has a G force.
And you can boost or retard depending how much you want.
If this is the vertical, this is forward, right? And
Yeah.
this would be my accelerometer. In G-force, it will see a -1 in Z-axis, and the X and in this direction and that direction will see a 0, right? But as you start to tilt, right, the Z is going to decrease, the Y is going to increase, X is still a 0 because I'm still horizontal. But if I'm like this, then it's going to see the X in -1. Now the Z it's in this plane is going to read 0. So depending on orientation on which the plane is, you're going to read these 3 axes at all times.
Yeah, I just didn't know what controlled that, so it's the timer that does that.
The timer has a software built into it that reads the accelerometer.
Right.
And depending on the information it receives from over there and the information that you program into it for your lap time, your whatever,
There's a
it's
sensor
gonna
on the airplane. You put adjusting after the CG. You can put it where you want. You have to adjust it.
Okay.
Yeah. It doesn't take long to learn. It just takes, you got to go out and be willing to try different things. A lot of people put a lot of adjustable features on their airplanes and never use them. And same thing true with the electric stuff. You have a lot of adjustments, and a lot of people never mess with them. And you have to. You have to learn what does what.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm
but
just
in
curious.
general, it's simple. I mean, it's like as soon as you can find good electrons to put in your battery, and you read the instruction manuals, I mean, you have to get American electrons for sure in your batteries. but as soon as you do that and you read the instructions a little bit, you understand the system, you're good to go. I mean, it's as simple as that.
When you get it set up where you want it, it'll fly hundreds of flights in a row without changing anything.
Right.
Hundreds of flights in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing I like about it is, I've never liked messing with engines. I've never liked messing with all that stuff. I like to fly, and if you get it set up where you can fly, you don't have to think about it. Your whole focus is on geometry rather than thinking about the motor.
Yeah. Is the motor going to quit, or is the weather going to change?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less humidity, a little bit more humidity, hotter. The air gets thinner, and especially sometimes at the nets, the weather can change from day to day, and you might be set up in the day before, and the next day, the weather changes all of a sudden, and now you're screwed, because
Tonight it can change. The barometer changes and your needle valve changes, and with the electric, you still have the efficiency of the propeller and the wing are no different than they are in glow. But the power is always the same. I mean, it actually gets even more when it gets a little warmer. You get more power, and they actually put out a little more power when the batteries are warm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Because I say I'll probably venture out into electric one of these days, but right now I'm gonna stick with the ICs because that's what I know.
Yeah.
So, but like I say, the way things are going with fuel prices and $500 engines, may have to go to electric.
You do what turns you on, and
Yeah.
It's always been about flying. It's not about messing with the engine. I want to go out and fly.
Yeah. A lot of things that you do for electric, it's a one-time deal, right? So, for example, if you buy a charger, you might as well just buy a charger that's going to charge many batteries at a time,
right?
And you buy it one time. If you buy batteries, maybe you're going to have 2 sets of batteries usually. It's like 2200 milliamps, a 4S, so pretty much going to work on any 40 size plane that you're going to use. I think it's a 2800 6S will work on any 60 size plane you will ever use. So those like basically 2 batteries. So you get if you get 4 and 4, you can fly nonstop anything.
Yeah.
I use just 4 batteries when I go out and fly. I don't need any more than that, and I fly constantly, no wait whatsoever between flights.
Yeah.
So it's doable. I mean, but it's a one-time deal, and the motors are like $40 a pop,
Yeah.
maybe $60 for a better motor.
When you decide to go to it, don't cheap out. Get yourself a really good charger, like a Cell Pro, and get a really good Karo board that you can charge like 6 batteries at a time on. And you'll learn as you go along if you get into it. It's really not that hard.
Yeah.
Now, are the batteries? They're not NiCad anymore. They're
No, they're LiPo.
LiPos.
Yeah.
So you can
Only
discharge. You
LiPos.
don't have to discharge them all the way down. And
yeah, and when you come home, if you have batteries that are still charged, you definitely want to put them back on and discharge them back down to a storage charge. You don't want to leave them full charge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know the old NiCads back in the day would if you only ran them down half voltage, they'll develop a memory, and now you're only running a 3-minute run. I had an RC car that was like that. If you didn't discharge them all the way, they would develop a memory. So the new ones, I'm assuming, don't do that.
One thing about the LiPo is you don't want to take them down past about no more than 75%. No more than 75. You want to leave 25% nominally in the battery.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, these have all different quirks than the NiCads.
Mm-hmm.
Now, does the chargers, will they take them down to a specific range and then start charging them? Or do you take them down to a specific range and then it stops?
No, it's usually low. So you have 100% of the battery, right? You fly it, you bring it down to about 25, right? And when you get home, you put them on storage charge, which is going to bring them about halfway.
Right.
Okay.
All right. That's about halfway. And over there, you can leave them stored like that forever.
Yep.
It's going to stay at halfway point, right? When you go out flying, you just put them on chargers. They're going to go from halfway to the fully charged, and then you're good to go.
Okay, so you're not having to charge a full battery. You're just charging a half a battery.
Usually, yes. Now, if you are on a field and you fly constantly, then you're going to bring it from 20% all the way up to full charge.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But other than that, like pretty much, that's one thing I was kind of pondering with my plane, because I can use much smaller batteries than what I'm using right now. But then I said, after my flight, I'm right in storage charge capacity right there. So I said, I don't need any lighter plane than it is right now, so I didn't care for it. So I said, I'm going to stay with what I have. Simple. But it's from case to case.
Yeah, let me interrupt real quick. We're going to be transitioning to the after party. So we've been on air now for 2 hours and 22 minutes. And I try to keep the show down so that when people see the shows, they see how long it is. Some people aren't going to watch it. So that's why I transitioned to the after party. And I want to thank everybody for showing up. And Howard, thanks for coming in, Howard. I hope that you will make it a habit and come in frequently. Also, we had another new guest. We had 944_Jim. That's his handle on Stunthangar. And we had Chris Rigatti for the first time in here. And I appreciate that. Chris, you can bring your brother too next time. And new on the chat box, Timothy DeBoard. He says, what a great explanation of the timer to ESC. Thank you much. So I think that's compliment to you guys talking about that.
I think we should have a little round of applause for Howard's new hairstyle.
Yeah. Yeah, looks good. The long hair looks good, Howard. You're definitely rocking the lock there right now.
Well, being as this first time I've ever seen him, I can't really say nothing.
Steve, I know you're coming in late, but we're going to transition to the after party. But we had 26 viewers at our high mark, and we're at 20 likes. So thank you very much for doing that. Now, if you're watching this as a replay, we do this every Monday and Friday, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of that so you can come watch us live or come in live. And we consistently are having over 20 viewers. So please consider coming in like Howard did and Chris Gotti and Jim, because it helps the show. I think it brings new life, new new blood, as I like to say, and everyone brings in something that's appreciated. So, even if you don't know a bunch about stunt or control line, still come on in. And anyways, I'm going to end on that note. Thank you very much. We'll be back again Friday at 6:45. So go out there and have some fun. Do something in your shop and come back and show and tell us what you did. And without any further ado, I'm going to say
And don't break your airplane tail.
yes, and don't break your airplane tail doing the show and tell.